Hi trendsetters, I'm doing a few requested videos now. So the first one will be on the lawyers. So it will be a battle of the Michaels, Michael Avenatti, and he is Stormy Daniels' lawyer, and Michael Cohen, Trump's toe cutter. Okay, so I've brought out the toss deck. And I was thinking about what sort of spread I'd use for these guys. So what I'll be doing is 3 short spreads, one on each of them and one how the face-off will go. Okay, so let's do Avenatti first. Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Avenatti. Sorry about my pronunciation. All right, what's going to be revealed for him? We'll see what his personality is like. I'll just push this back a bit. Okay. They're not major arcana cards, but they're very strong cards. So in the beginning, his essential card is the Knight of Cups. So this cup's representing emotion. Notice the cup has the Cancer symbol astrologically. So he is driven much more emotionally than perhaps is obvious. We know that he is hugely ambitious, that's not a surprise, but he has huge emotional energy driving this case and I think his work generally. Obviously, he's hoping to make his name with this case. So behind that we have the Chariot, which bears that out, and here's something that's interesting. Here's the Crab again. The emotional side of things. So the other aspects of the Chariot, of course, are a warrior element and driving through in command of lots of elements of the power. But as we've noted in the Rider-Waite deck, not totally in command of what is going on. So in other words, a powerful figure with powerful tools, but still not holding the reins. And it's interesting that the toss deck also depicts this. So enormous confidence, enormous energy. Underneath this, the Knight of Swords, the one that represents haste. So this represents speed in the center of his reading. This implies a risk that he might be too smart for his own good in a way. He might be overreaching with this case, but there's this slight element of all or nothing with this charging forth, I would suggest, for Avenatti. Over his reading, the Ace of Discs, reminding you Ace is always powerful. This is about money. So money and ambition. No surprises there. You do not have to be a tarot reader to make that conclusion. The outcome, the 6 of Discs or 6 of Pentacles in the toss deck, success. So short term, if nothing else, you'd have to say he's been very successful already in making a name for himself. If this case goes ahead as he plans, he'll be set for life. If, of course, it doesn't, his name will be always associated with failure, so it's a high-risk strategy. But he's succeeded already in the sense of his name is now very well known for someone who's comparatively early on in a national legal career. So we're now going to look, excuse me, Michael Cohen, much more of a household name, But he has had some shady dealings in the past. And if you represent Trump for a long period of time, as he has, what compromises has he made? What crap has gone down that he's been instrumental in covering up, apart from Stormy Daniels? But he's got to watch out, you know. So we'll see what the toss deck represents for Michael Cohen. Again, a little 5-carder. All right. He's got to be very careful at this point. His central card, the Ace of Discs or the Eight of Pentacles, prudence. He has probably to now cleverly negotiated a difficult client in Trump, very cleverly negotiated that, but he stuck his neck out with the $130,000 payment that he allegedly just did out of the kindness of his little lawyer heart. I don't think that was believed by anybody in America or around the world. So he has to rely on what I think is his natural prudence that he let slide when this became public. So next to that we have the Knight of Swords again, the hasty vengeance, similar to what we just saw. He has two impulses. There's, if you like, this is self-preservation versus he knows he's drowning and it's best to go on the attack. That's how I'd sum that up. Underneath him, the Queen of Discs or the Queen of Pentacles. Some older woman with considerable money. Now, we could ask ourselves, who's really paying Michael Cohen? And this would suggest Rebecca Mercer, in my humble view. But an older woman with a truckload of money is paying him, not Trump. Okay, now, well, that's his outcome. Looking at what's on top of his reading, the moon, female energy again. This could be, if I'm right about Rebecca Mercer, an aspect of that, but it's more in this context for a man's reading, more about hidden information, hidden agendas, trying to keep things secret. Unfortunately for Michael Cohen, his short-term outcome is not going to resolve that pleasantly. I would suggest this is called interference in the Thoth deck. The Eight of Swords. Lots of swords out for him, including other lawyers, not the least of which would be whole panels of Mueller lawyers, but also Avenatti. All right, so that's the boys individually. Let me put this back in the pack. And we'll have a look here about how the face-off is likely to unfold. So let me just give the cards a good mix-up, please. So bear with me, oh patient viewers. This. I find these cards quite difficult to work with because they're so enormous. Here we go. Vast cards. All right, now we're going to give it a bit of a shuffle. So, let's see between the Michaels. So, Cohen versus Avenatti. Cohen, Avenatti. Oh, they're beasts to work with, I tell you. All right. I'm going to do 2 columns for them. Okay, now with these 2, Avenatti and Cohen, ever so quickly, Avenatti gets the 2 of Swords, called Peace for some strange reason in the toss deck. Traditionally, it's that blindfolded female figure with the 2 swords having to make a decision or reaching the crossroads. So I would interpret that as he had a pretty good run because so many people want to see Trump go down. People loved what he had to say. People swallowed the Stormy Daniels narrative and gulped it down with ice cream on top. But now it's getting serious legally. So he's at that particular crossroads, having had a good run. He does get the success card in the middle. So that would suggest that he negotiates this crossroad quite successfully. And his 3rd card is the Princess of Cups. So that is a more female card of emotion. So it could be that Stormy gets a bit of emotional reward, you could say, from that. Cohen, Queen of Swords, justice, truth, and the American way. Interesting. I think he is in trouble, and this would be borne out. The 9 of Wands, which is a lot of energy, a lot of fire, power, a lot of power. Having said that, it's also a very strong card. It does represent strength. So, in other words, I think his backers, beyond Trump, will be going into overdrive to protect Michael Cohen. He again got the card of interference. He got that twice. So he has support, but he also has interference. So from that, I know which side of the table I'd rather be on or who I'd rather be working for. So I think Cohen has had the best of his run, and it's now going to turn from Trump on to Cohen himself, is how I'd sum up that situation. So Cohen is going to have to do full-time arse covering, and his mental energy, his intellectual loyalty energy, will now have to go on to his own case and his own defence. And there has been muttering that he might be called by Mueller. In which case, I'm sort of sick of the expression throwing people under the bus, but it was designed for conversations like this. So I think that will be the next significant development in all of this. Okay, everyone, I'm going to do a second reading now. So I'll say ta-ta for now. Ciao.